Whether it's a small decision, like what to eat for dinner, or it's a competitive decision, like filling out your March Madness bracket, or it's a life or death situation, such as jumping out of a plane, we all have difficulty making decisions. In the world of communication studies, this decision-making process is explored within Leon Festinger's theory of cognitive dissonance. First, let's define cognitive dissonance. M. Griffin, author of First Look at Communication Theory, defines cognitive dissonance as the distressing mental state caused by inconsistency between a person's two beliefs or a belief and an action. In other words, cognitive dissonance is the tension that occurs in our thoughts. An example of this is dieting. Let's say Joe here is dieting, but he really wants this cake. What is Joe going to do? He knows he shouldn't eat it because it would ruin his diet, but he is craving it so badly. I'm sure you can think of your own examples as well. So what do we do about it? How do we cope with this tension now that we are aware it exists? There are several ways people deal with the dissonance they experience. For this presentation, we're going to focus on 4 techniques. First, we can push the thought away and stick to our ideas, beliefs, or values. Joe would say no to the cake because he knows it will ruin his diet. A second way people reduce the tension is by ignoring information that will prove them wrong. An example? Smoking. Evidence has shown it leads to health problems, but some people ignore this information in order to continue their habit of smoking. Some people also justify their actions if it produces dissonance in their minds. I often do this with skipping class. I will justify my actions by telling myself I haven't skipped as much as another person in the class. A final technique in reducing dissonance is by paying attention to and remembering certain information. Many people just choose to forget information that does not align with their opinions. At this point, you're probably thinking, okay, thanks for the heads up, but what about the tension after Joe finally decides to eat that cake? I know you're dying to know my answer. And in order to respond, I am going to turn back to our friend Festinger. Another claim of his theory is that people experience tension even after a decision is made, after the T's have been crossed and the I's have been dotted. We worry if buying that car was the right choice. We are afraid that we chose the wrong team to win it all in the bracket. M. Griffin defines this post-decision dissonance as strong doubts experienced after making an important close-call decision that is difficult to reverse. And the more difficult the decision, the more likely it is you will experience more tension about the correctness of that decision. When this happens, we run to people for reassurance in our choice, or we find evidence that backs us up. Let's say Joe ended up eating that cake despite his better judgment. He runs to his girlfriend Shelley for backup, who tells him that he can cheat every once in a while. Joe has found his reassurance. I hope this look into the theory of cognitive dissonance has not only made you aware of the tension you feel, but has also empowered you to make decisions knowing different techniques you can use to reduce the dissonance. After all, life goes on no matter what decision you will make. And maybe like Joe, you can have your cake and eat it too.